Hi and welcome to today's live. Today is our Friday live, which is for parents of Key Stage 2 aged children. And today we'll be exploring photography for children aged 7 to 11. So if you want to have a go at the activities today, you will need a device with a camera on it, and even better if you can bring up a grid through the settings or through your device, and you will also need some photographs. You can have a printer to print out some photos that you have took, or some photographs that you don't mind using to cut up and make a puzzle with, some lolly sticks, some glue, and I think that's everything that you will need. So why celebrate World Photography Day? World Photography Day was on Monday, and on Monday I did a live to suggest some activities that you could do with your Key Stage 1 age children, which could also be adapted to older children. And today I will explain some even more activities that you can do to celebrate photography. So when your child reaches Key Stage 2, they are expected to expand on their photography skills and use more specific vocabulary like focal points, which I'll explain later on. And when they're thinking about positioning and angles, and like all the things that I mentioned on Monday, they can deepen their photography skills and vocabulary by using focal points and photography. So to begin with, you simply encourage your child to take photographs and use the vocabulary and think about central points and focusing and analysing photos. So after using the vocabulary, it is a really good idea to then explore and analyse the photos, because analysing things in Key Stage 2 becomes more of a focus when your child is learning. So to begin with, when taking the photos, you can introduce to your child grids and think about using grids to take photographs and thinking about focal points. So focal points, simply put, are the centre of the image. When you look at an image, the thing that you see in the image, that it should be at the centre and the focal point. So if your child asks what a focal point is, you can say it's something that your eye is naturally drawn to. It can be positioned in the centre, so it might be a person, place, object. And for me, on Monday's live, when I was taking photographs of the bear would have been my focal point. And then I also went out and explored taking photos out in nature, and you could discuss with your child the benefits of going outdoors and taking photographs in nature too. So I had a little go, which I can show you here. I had a little go at taking some images of some trees and of a lake. And the first image, you can see there is a grid on it. Now I tried to put in the middle of the grid what I wanted to be the focal point. So for the first image, I wanted it to be the tree trunk. And for the second image, I wanted it to be the sort of sign area and the start of the lake. And then these are the end results of the photographs. And then once you have gone and took photographs with your child, you can analyse these photographs with them. So you might then say, oh, I wanted to take the photograph of this lake, but I really wanted the focal point to be a duck in the lake, but there was no ducks to take photos of. So maybe you could then discuss and analyse the photo. What would make the photo better? What would make it worse? The duck not being there, that's out of our control. So how, in discussing and analysing the photo and picking out the key things in the photo that you have took is a really good thing to do with your child. So I might say, yes, I didn't manage to get a photo of a duck in this bit of this lake. However, I really like how it's picked up the colour of the sandy, gravelly area on the floor by the lake. And for the tree, I thought, I would have wanted more of the sun to be in it. However, the light is coming into the photo just at the top. And I can see that there's lots of different contrasts in this photo. So using the vocabulary and remembering to say focal points and talk about focal points is really important. So just analysing what you've taken photos of is a great way to start. Then you can use the images further to make lots of fun activities at home. So when you have taken your photos, you can print them off or look at them on a device, and you can see if your child can pick out key things. They might pick out lighting, like I just picked out. They might pick out colour, like I just picked out. They might pick out distance or their own perspective. What is the perspective of the image that is taken? So really analysing the photo and presenting their results to you is a great process that your child can do in Key Stage 2. So when you've taken the photographs and you want to do a different activity with your child, there are some fun crafty activities that you can do with the photographs you've taken. If you've got a printer, you can print off the photographs, or you can have a look at what photographs you don't mind using at home to do this activity. And when you have done that, you can then use your printed image, so I printed off my photo of a tree, to then create a lolly stick puzzle. So there is a really good resource on our website which has lots of instructions for this, and I will just explain how I did it and what adaptations I made. So for making the puzzle, if I just pop this on here, when I was making the puzzle, I could have a photograph. This is something you could ask your child to do, and then I lined the lolly stick to see how many I would need. Now, the first barrier that I come across, which your child might come across, is you need to cut the image to the exact size of the lollipop stick. So it's really then seeing if you need to cut a bit of the image off, making sure you've still got the centre of your lollipop sticks. And then what you're going to do is you're going to glue the back of the photograph and stick onto the back your lollipop sticks. And then another barrier that you might come across is that you wanted to have 7 lollipop sticks, so you knew the third one was the centre point for your child to find. However, the photograph is not the right size for this. So then you can bring in their mathematical skills and then find out how many lollipop sticks you have. Is it going to be 2 that's going to be in the centre? Is it going to be 1? And then you're just going to stick those down. So when you're sticking them down, you can stick them quite close to each other or a little bit further apart. It depends how much of the image you want overlapping that won't be on a stick. I did mine quite close together, and then I actually found that it became quite tricky to score and cut out. So your child might find it a little bit tricky to score and cut out your puzzle. So this is all something that you can try. So then when you've got all of your lollipop sticks on, which I have just done now, you can then turn it over to see your puzzle before you have then sliced it up to make a lolly stick puzzle. So then I just started scoring here, and then once you have scored your lolly sticks, you can then complete the puzzle like I have here. So I was just putting all of the images together, and I found this a little bit trickier than Monday's puzzle because it didn't have any of the borders from the image. I'd cut those off, and there isn't any pieces where you have to match the corner pieces. So I was really looking at the different colours in this image to match it up, and this is something that you could discuss with your child as well. How do you know it is the centre of the image? Well, I've spotted the trees in it and I know that's the focal point, that's the focus of the image, so that's going to go in the middle. I also knew that there was a bit more sky in the right hand corner, so I figured that would be over on that side of the puzzle, and you can match up your lollipop sticks that way. If you did catch, so there's my puzzle completed there. If you did catch Monday's puzzle, that is also a really good puzzle to do at home with your child to then discuss your grid when you're taking photographs of things. So you can use your grid to take a photograph, and then you can create a puzzle, which I did on Monday, and I'll just show you Monday's one. This was one that I did with a bear, just to explain how that you can use the grid. So I cut mine into a 3x3 grid to have 9 pieces. Then it would have looked like the grid when you were taking photographs. using the grid feature on your device. So I just cut it up, and then if I just move it a little bit along so you can see the pieces, I then match the pieces up so that each square from what would have been the 3x3 grid created a puzzle. So this is also a really great way to use Monday's activity and to make it relevant for your child that is Key Stage 2 aged, by making sure that you're talking about the grids and focal points. And it's very similar to the lolly stick activity, however you're using the more vocabulary on the grid and focal points. So I've just nearly matched this one up now. Remember, any questions, pop them in the comments. There we go, I've just matched up the last one. So I hope you have found today's live really informative on all things photography. Remember, any questions, pop them in the comments. And next week, I'll be back on Wednesday and Friday. On Wednesday, I'll be back to talk about back to school and give you lots of tips and tricks on easy lunchbox ideas and ways to get back into routine. And then Friday's live will be on moving on up when your child is in year 6, moving on up to year 7. So if you're interested in those lives, you can feel free to come along at 4:30, and I'll see you then.